Then when Gillian got her cancer tragically in 2015, I had no idea about trauma. And then it came, one of my daughters discovered somebody in Edinburgh who gave me some information. We got on to Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate, and he wrote a book, When the Body Says No. And that's all about our immune system being affected by depression, anxiety, stress. And I know that Gillian was stressed at the time. Her mother wasn't very well in Scotland and she was worried about her a lot. And I'm pretty sure that all of this built up, her immune system went down, and I have a feeling that the cancer got through at that point. So you can only speculate as to that. But when you read Gabor's book, it's very, very convincing. He's lots of and lots of other things like multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia. All of these can be linked to the autoimmune system being down at the time.
So Clive, I think it's so interesting. So here you were, a businessman. Your beloved wife is stricken with cancer, and then you become an explorer in the world of trauma, reading some of the very well-known authors like Dr. Gabor Mate, and all of a sudden it sparks something with you. So did you have any inclination that you would become, in really a very short period of time, that's like 5 years, that you would become really a mover and shaker in bringing some of the leading experts about trauma to Northern Ireland? But when I went to the conference, there were people from the entire world that came to that conference. There were, I think, thousands of people there. It certainly seemed that way. Yes, so how did that happen? Going from a timber business to being an ambassador of trauma recovering, and also a messenger of wanting to get this word out?
Well, I think it's because trauma was there to be discovered. And it is a huge problem. And I could not believe how few people knew about it. And when I was looking after Gillian as she went through all of her treatments for the cancer, I'm afraid it took her away after about 10 months. But during all of that time when I was looking after her, we were sitting in waiting rooms, doctors' waiting rooms at home, and I was reading all of these books, and I had time on my hands because I wasn't at work. Brian, my son, was looking after the business, and we've got a very, very capable team who were all doing their best. So I had time, and I read these things, and I thought, my goodness, if people need to know about this, because so many people's lives could be saved. And then when I discovered all the other things like addictions, obesity, and suicide, all linked to this. Now, I have to say that there's a risk of me becoming a trauma evangelist in that I believe that everything is caused by trauma. And to some extent that's true, but I try and be balanced where I can. It is a very, very big factor in an awful lot of people's pain and agony. And then not just trauma, but when you start looking at things like suicide and suicide ideation, it is people's needs not being met. It's concerns and worries that are far bigger than the person actually, they think it's bigger than it actually is, but it's reached that stage. And suicide is a coping strategy. Yeah. They usually start off self-harming, but the suicide is actually the way to stop the central nervous system having all this pain. So in the same way that alcohol would do that.
Yes. So you really had this awakening during this course. And so, one of the questions that's linked to that, the tragedy of losing Gillian, is that what helped you get